Let's see here, move it up a little bit. All right, I think we are good to go live. Just double check. It is indeed live. Fantastic. So good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to play some more Grim Dawn because I've had quite a hankering. Oh yes, to play some more. And it's like I will not allow myself to play any other campaign of Grim Dawn. I'm only allowed to play this campaign of Grim Dawn because I don't want to like break up my motivation to play, you know, like my desire to play. You know, I don't want it to be satisfied by a campaign that isn't being recorded and then like have this one be kind of wishy-washy, kind of being meh. So I'll tell you what, let us pop out our chats. Looks like we're getting green bars today, which is a good sign. Pop out chat. So again, I am at the mercy of YouTube when it comes to our stream. And if it goes pretty awfully, then we'll try again another time. For instance, tomorrow, we're planning on streaming again tomorrow, which will be Friday, October 5th. Another portion of our campaign here. And then I was planning on doing a dual stream tomorrow. I was planning on doing a couple hours of Grim Dawn and a couple hours of our Guild Wars Eye of the North campaign. So just give you guys a quick idea. Let's see here. Right, so I think it'll be about, like, what did I say, 1 o'clock? I think I said 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's when we'll get started with our stream. So anyways, let us begin our campaign today. Also, I have to say that I did post my, what do you call it? I had a build analysis video that's going to come out before I start publishing this. So if you're watching this now, I know this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to post this later, obviously, as, you know, part of the series after I chop it up into individual episodes. But before this airs, you guys will have already seen, I made a little build kind of analysis video to some extent. We went to Grim Tools and I recorded kind of like my thoughts and ideas of what to expect when it came to our build. And, you know, I have to say that you basically end up with, I think, what, 244 skill points total. You get a max level of 100 in this game, and then you get a max of 244 skill points, assuming that, you know, you haven't spent any. So 244, and you figure 2 classes, and each class has 50 skill points into their mastery. So 100 points just automatically wiped out to deal with both classes mastery, right? So that leaves you with 144 points. And I have to say that 144 points sounds like a lot, but it's really kind of not, because you know, what we were planning on doing was maxing Ray Skeleton, maxing Undead Legion, pumping 1 into Will of the Crypt. More was questionable. Maxing out Blight Fiend, putting at least 1 into one of these. You know, I don't really have to go over that entire thing, but I'm just saying that after everything was all said and done, as far as like some of these other skills go, like I'm not really sure if we want to like actually max them out or just put a couple points in them and then have whatever kind of gear we're wearing at any given point in time maybe help us max it out, like plus the skills gear. Like say for instance Rotting Fumes or Blight Burst. So the purpose of my build, what I want this character to do is we're gonna max out our companions, our pets first. That is my #1 priority, okay? And when I say that it's our #1 priority, it's not just the summon individually, but it's going to be pets overall. And I feel like when I have to make that really clear here, because when it comes to me like maxing skills out or gear or whatever else, I'm going to focus on gear and skills that give me bonuses to all of my pets first and foremost, rather than completely maxing an individual pet's skill. So like if there is a skill here, like for instance this one, and it's going to give all of my skeletons this bonus here, is probably worth more than the Rotting Fumes, to be honest, because there's going to be more skeletons and there's only going to be 1 Blight Fiend. And I understand that this might do a shit ton of damage, but I don't know, you know, that's kind of where I'm going with my build. And there's a lot of different options. And the moment, like I said in the analysis video, the moment we get access to the NPC that allows us to respec, we's going to respec, because this whole Soleil's Witchfire here and Reaping Strike, it's just not going to work for us. Unfortunately, it's just not. So first of all, we're going to get our Will-o'-the-Wisp. And like I was saying, I got to take a look at that. I think that was part of the DLC, because we have Corey the Keeper here that gives us all kinds of other like promotional items, whatever. But the good thing about the Will-o'-the-Wisp is the Will-o'-the-Wisp is actually a pet. We are going to set him to defensive. He just gives us an increased light radius, but hey, it's a pet. Let's see here. We want that. And then let's proceed. Not entirely certain how long tonight's stream is going to be. I think we can probably at least get a good hour in. I just had, man, I had that hankering, this like complete desire to play a lust. Okay, so let's take a look at the actual mini-map here. I think it was pretty much, yeah, that's right, I remember. Stopped right here because it was a really convenient spot due to the whole bottleneck. Carnage looks recent. Okay, we're gonna go left. I've always found, in general, video games, especially RPGs, whenever you have like a crossroads or a fork in the road, the left path is always the best path. You know, something I'm going to have to really learn with this game that I think I failed to do in Diablo. I mean, of course I failed to do in Diablo because that's how my character died. Was I need to learn how to micro my pets a little bit more effectively. That, if you notice that in the previous stream, there was a lot of times where, okay, there would be like a monster. Say like where this tree is at, the monster hasn't spotted us. And I press 1 to send my pets over there. Okay, and they engage, and they're basically engaged with one another. They're aggroed each other, right? But the moment I do something to that enemy, they automatically aggro me. They just completely lose absolute interest into, you know, what they were doing or what's around them right then and there, and just make a beeline straight up for me. And it sucks because I just don't understand how the mechanics are like that. Or if like there's maybe a hidden threat mechanic for the actual human player ourselves, you know what I mean? Because like some of the skills, like for instance, just to give you guys an idea, like for instance, the Blight Fiend skill, Rotting Fumes, has a generate additional threat. Same thing with their Blight Burst skill. It generates additional threat. Well, what does that mean though? Like, how is that represented in game? What I'm wondering is that the moments where enemies completely lose interest in all of my pets and instead come for me is because do my skills have a much higher threat limit? And then that basically justifies their behavior. That's what I'm wondering. A prisoner calls for help. Well, let's get the treasure first. Totally didn't mean to actually, break this man's bonds. Luther Graves says, "Thank goodness someone came. Those Slith, they attacked my caravan and killed all my guards. I think the only reason they left me alive was so that they could have me fresh later. Those bastards." So we could actually swindle the guy for some money. I'm not going to do that though. We're gonna be a good person. I'm from Devil's Crossing. I can help you get back there. Don't kid yourself. Look at this blood. I'm not going to be able to walk out of here. Appreciate the thought, but it might be better just to end this quick. You probably won't like this, but I can open a rift for you. The last thing I want is my legs to stay on this side while the rest of me goes back. But you're not giving me any alternative, are you? Send me off then. Alrighty. So we got to speak to Luther Graves back at Devil's Crossing the moment we get a chance to. I think we might be able to manage that. know, again, it's still pretty early in the game where I'm just, at this point, hoarding the components, not actually using any of them. Unless I have, like, some really serious reason to use any of them, which I don't think I do, personally. So as far as our pants go, we want the new pants, because they're pretty dead sexy. Alright, let's explore this cave over here. Too bad the caves don't actually have, like, unique names like they did in Diablo 2. Like the pit or the hole or the den of evil. Could they, like, you know, maybe spice it up a little bit? How about, like, some affixes? Like they do, like, yeah, like Path of Exile. Have some affixes for, you know, the sub-dungeons. Alright, so we're gonna, you know, use our pets here. I didn't even have to cast Curse of Frailty there either. So one of my other problems with this game, one of my complaints about it is, okay, so let's send my pets over here. Okay, the guy that we just had the ability to actually loot from, the one that, like, the treasure box body, looks identical to all of the other dead bodies. Like this one right here. Here's another one. Like they wear like this dark navy blue shirt, it looks like, and maybe like some like dark brown pants. Like I can't tell if this guy was supposed to be a treasure box body that was already activated or what. Like I don't know. I kind of wish there was like at least more distinguishing characteristics between the corpses. So it's like either make the ones that can be interacted with, make them stand out, or you need to have like greater diversity in just the available corpses. I can't believe I'm actually saying that. It sounds ridiculous. Holy shit, he just ate my skeletons alive. Wow. He's pretty easy to deal with. His attacks are... well, except when I get fucking frozen like that. Get away from him! No! Oh my god. Yeah, got him. Get out of there. And I really wonder what the design decision was for, like, when you kill these bosses, they drop like this like little flavor egg thing. As you could see right there, I think it said hero spoils or heroic spoils, right? Well, is that really necessary to create that thing that has, like, you know, all the items and shit in it? I don't understand, like, why couldn't the monster just drop that stuff instead of there being a Mrs. Grass noodle soup flavor egg. And speaking of those things, by the way, I have found, much to my chagrin, that they don't put the little flavor egg inside of Mrs. Graff's noodle soups anymore. Apparently, they started to phase them out in 2016, from what I read. I think there was even like a change.org campaign to get them to actually start including them in there, and I guess there was one person out there allegedly, you know, got a hold of the company and said, you know, basically, what the fuck? And the company gave like a real boilerplate response back. Because you want to know what it is. It's just the company trying to save some money. Cost cutting. It's the same thing. Oh, what is this? This is a... oh, I was going to say, are there wands in this game? I don't remember ever seeing a wand. Not quite at that point yet where I'm ready to filter out the regular gray common items yet. Still trying to make that cash. Besides, it only takes a second to go back to town and get rid of that stuff. So here's our boss. Really surprised that Curse of Frailty is lasting as long as it has. It's So the good thing about the monster, actually, I guess, focusing on me is that I don't have to worry about recasting my minions. So here we go. Here's the flavor egg. Heroic spoils. Just getting a bunch of regular magical items here. Right. We are gonna have to go back to town here at some point soon, so I can pawn some of this stuff. Diablo reference, totally unintentional. See, I guess that's my one criticism of this build that I'm finding is, like, what do you do with yourself? I mean, you know, I think we'll just go back up top through some other place, or we'll just backtrack to this this exit over here. Because I'm like, we're gonna end up exploring all that stuff topside anyways, so it doesn't really make sense to get up in them guts, like right in the middle of it. But anyways, like, as far as this build goes, like, a viable, just run-of-the-mill default attack kind of skill. I'm just not sure. Because there's a lot of times where I don't really need to recast my minions, and maybe the curse, the debuff, or whatever else I have up is... it's still rocking and rolling, man. So there's literally nothing for me to do except, you know, make sure that I'm in a good enough position, and then what? Attack? I'm just saying that I could replace my attack with something else, but it's got to be something that's viable, because if it's a magic spell, then it kind of needs to be available when I need it to be available, for one, and then for two, it just can't cost that much. And here's the problem that I'm having here, is that I knew this was going to be an issue. It's going to be less of an issue later on in the game, when we're able to, like, you know, start doing like some MF runs, some magic finding runs, so that maybe we can, like, equip these very, very specific gears that a lot of people run their builds based upon. But a lot of, like, the end game gear and stuff has, like, you know, certain sets that are, I don't know, you know, really important for certain kinds of classes and builds and whatnot. And well, there are definitely some ones for us, for being a zoomancer, or for being a, you know, a pet master or pet builder or whatever. So with that being said, all the meaty portions of this campaign and the stuff that we're doing right now, it's going to be an issue because, well, for instance, I mean, I've ran into, like, what is this, like the third or fourth helmet that I've had, you know, in maybe like the last, like, hour and a half, 2 hours of game time, that were strictly better than the one that we have equipped. But the reason why I don't want to equip that helmet and then equip the one that I have on right now is simply because it has the bonus to pets. So we're going to automatically get outclassed, because I'm always going to want to put preference to bonus to pets. I knew that was going to be an issue. There's going to be a time where I'm just going to have to say screw it, and we're going to have to, absolutely positively have to, just get better equipment and sacrifice the bonuses to our pets. Because, hey baby, we are playing a hardcore character, so you better believe all of those, like, defensive bonuses to health, bonuses to our resistances, those are totally necessary. Alright, you know what? Instead of completely backtracking, we have that unique opportunity just to basically start afresh right in the middle of it. So I think I'm going to actually take advantage of that. I know I was kind of just talking shit about it. Oops. Damn, I really wish the skeletons were up here somewhere. Even if, like, they just had one little placard here that showed, you know, my skeletons. Like, it's more of the display, because I want to focus all my attention in just one area when it comes to my pets, but unfortunately it's got to be bifurcated into the two areas. See, I can't even get my pets to go all the way over here. Oh, they totally did. So we want to go like this. So we definitely want to go back down. Because keep in mind, I did say something about, like, you know, wanting to explore the entirety of the map. Yeah, our skeletons are getting eaten alive here. The next levels that we're going to get, we're definitely going to want to put some skill points into Ray's skeleton. Listen, our skeletons are supposed to die. I read that there was this really, really good build online that I could actually, like, link in one of my descriptions or whatever. There's really good builds that basically came to the conclusion that your skeletons are meant to die, that they're meant to be basically glass cannons. That you should stop thinking about them in terms of, oh man, you know, they got low health, low defense. No, they're supposed to die. So you're supposed to actually run with the whole idea of them being glass cannons and pump up their attack and their damage that they do. So even though you're going to have to replace your skeletons, boy, they're going to sit there and do some walloping damage.
Come see what's left of my wares.
I can totally get on board with that whole train of thought. Ooh, look at that. We got a better gun. Ooh. I think so. I think we'll take that. Okay, so let's get rid of all of our white garbage here. And we're not using melee weapons, so unless of course they're like somehow unique, or there's a reason why I need to keep my hands on them. Still looking for a viable one-handed weapon. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. And we definitely don't need that. You know, and my question is that I kind of want somebody to answer this is there a reason to continually collect scrap after you repair the bridge and after you do the whole, the well quest? Is there any other reason to have scrap around? Or is there any reason to collect it?
Put it to good use.
As in, does it, like, you know, come into play, like, later on in some future quest? Oh, here's Luther Graves. Should probably talk to him. Thanks for saving my behind back there. Turns out not all of the rifts mean bad business. I've gone ahead and set up shop. Let me know if you need anything. Okay. So we get 500 Devil's Crossing reputation. Wow. So where does that actually put us now? We're tolerated. Okay. Holy shit, we're 62 points away from being friendly. Oh, we got hosed.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left.
So he's a salvage dealer. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's faction-based or what. So listen here, like, I want to equip a one-handed gun and have an offhand. Like, most notably, I want to have like a mage or a caster offhand and not a shield, unless of course the shield provides like the right bonuses. I want to go that route, but I can't because I'm stuck using these two-handed guns and the damage is just too good. So if I were to switch over to a one-handed weapon, a one-handed firearm specifically, it would have to do enough damage. Like, I know I'm going to take a DPS loss, but it looks like the way I'm going to be able to maximize that is a negative 80 DPS loss. Ouch. I don't think I can go that route yet, honestly.
See you around.
To be completely honest, I think until my skeletons become nice, beefy, and sexy, and they can kind of, like, you know, hold their own, along with my blight fiend and my familiar.
Safe storage, no questions asked.
Until that point, like, I think it'd be better off if I just kind of chilled and just kept using the two-handed firearm, the shotgun. So we got a much better amulet here. And then we have a whole bunch of, components that I need to drop off here. That's kind of underwhelming. Eventually you end up getting to the point where you remember the way a lot of the finished components work, or what they look like, so you could just take them out of your inventory directly instead of hovering over them like I am. And then we got another one of these Bloodfang oil potions. Not really sure if I really need to use one of these things ever, or if I just want to collect them, or if I'm just letting them hang around until I sell them. So anyways, we can equip this legendary ring here, or an epic ring, excuse me. I think we should probably get rid of the energizing copper band of the boar. So what does this thing actually do? So it gives us flat vitality damage, plus 8% vitality damage. Bonus to all pets, 8%, which is... And it grants us the Stalwart Guardian skill. It's a 5% chance when hit, and I don't plan on getting hit all that often. Calls for a Guardian with a strong defenses and high threat. Otherwise, it's pretty useless.
I'll keep an eye on this.
You know, for an epic piece of gear, it's pretty underwhelming. It's got like what, level 14 requirement? Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And I forgot the other, I think the other one is a legendary armbands, I think, maybe, kind of, sort of. So we are still trying to work our way up to Burwich Village. FYI, for those that are actually paying attention to the story and whatnot. Probably could also adjust the camera a little bit, so everybody can get in on the action. And speaking of which, it turns out we actually have some skill points here. Skill points, okay. So it looks like we're at, like, what, 16? Level 16 in our mastery. Hey, Crate, you guys think you guys could, like, maybe put in another quality of life feature? It's a really simple addition here, but can you guys actually give me a numerical value of where I'm currently placed or positioned on the bar here? Like, the graphical representation of, you know, have it going off in 5-point increments is just fine, but I would really like to know the exact specific number that I'm actually looking at right now, where my bar is sitting. It'd be really handy. Because right now I'm thinking about maybe like putting in 2 skill points into Raise Skeleton and then 1 skill point into Mastery every level until I get to the point of Will of the Crypt, so I can start maybe putting a point or 2 into it. Or possibly even into Undead Legion. So the next level, it's going to make them do more damage. I think we should do that. Let's do exactly what I just said. And then for devotion... Oh, yes. Don't have any points. Okay. And holy Jesus Christ, man, my skeleton's just... Oh, that's right. That's right. It's not because they died. I think it's just the way the game is. It's just the way the game is, I guess. The way it's coded. But if you have skeletons out and you put a point into raised skeletons, it automatically desummons your skeletons. Ow. I didn't realize I was fighting another boss over here. Okay. Skeletons are definitely performing noticeably better, honestly. And I'm really trying to evaluate their performance by how quickly they actually take down the enemy, and not like, you know, how often I need to resurrect them. You know, as far as the whole game, like unsummoning your skeletons when you adjust the skill, you know, via the actual character skills tab. I wonder what ends up happening if you equip a piece of gear that gives it plus the skills. So let's say I equipped a helmet that had +1 to Necromancer skills, which would obviously change my Ray Skeleton skill, right? What would happen then? Would it desummon all my skeletons the moment I equip that? Or would the skeletons still be there? Because I guess the logic that I'm following is the reason why the skeletons become desummoned, or they get desummoned, is because they are just a different level. It basically create like an anomaly, right? Because, you know, your previous skeletons were, say, on level 8, or excuse me, level 7, and, you know, that you put a skill point into Ray Skeleton, now they're level 8. So obviously the existing skeletons are not correct. But I wonder if it follows that same logic with plus the skills gear.